Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Tasty Tuesday. Today's topic is TCM and liver health. So we'll just give it a few minutes for some people to come in, waiting for some of our viewers to join us live. And I just want to also make sure that I am live and that everything is going in the right direction, that you can hear me. If you are here, say hello. Let me know where you're from. Also, I would love to hear or see your comments. Give me 1 minute. Let me make sure that I am online here. I don't see it coming up yet on my screen to see where I can get to the comments. And like I say, just let me have a minute. And there I see, here we are. Welcome. Hi, Terry. Welcome. Nice to see you. Good morning. I know you're viewing from Canada. So it's just early morning there, really early actually for you there. So yes, we have a nice sunny day here in Germany, lunchtime, noon. And I think you are in central Canada, so I think we're 6 or 7 hours apart. Anyway, something like this. So you're real early there. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are getting some nicer weather. I know you had a rough winter and spring's been pretty nasty there too. Let me know if you are viewing. Anybody else coming in, say hi. I'm happy to see who is here and to, I was going to say hear your voice. Well, I don't exactly hear it, but I feel your energy when you say hello even and let me know that you're here. So we'll just give it 1 more minute and then we'll get started. Nice to be here today on this lovely Tuesday. I'm always excited to share with you, and this particular topic was a request actually from Terry. So also just to let you know, if you, Terry, have any other special requests, please do let me know, or anybody else viewing, absolutely feel free to write it in the comments if you're watching this live. Also, if you watch it on the replay, you can do that as well. Just type in also #replay. If you're watching it from a YouTube link, you can also comment there. You're welcome to email me or message me on Facebook as well to let me know any topics that might be of interest for you, because absolutely, if I have a topic that is of interest for my viewers and I can provide you for information on that, I will be happy to do my best to provide. And I realized when preparing for this talk that actually I have so much information on this, and I knew that before because liver health is very important to me, and it's something I have been working on for many years. So I have lots of information, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do 2 episodes on this one. So we'll see how today goes. I don't want to be overwhelming people with everything. So I think we're going to focus on, I have some topics for today or some information for today. And I think we're going to follow up next week with it as well. So definitely let me know. As I said, if you have anything, we will get started now. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Lori Voss Furukawa. I'm originally from rural Manitoba, Canada. I left Canada when I was 22 years old to go teach English in Japan. And I had also studied education in Canada, and I was teaching children in Japan for 5 years and then into China. And in that time frame, I started shifting to become more on my self-healing journey and self-healing, because I had some health issues that were coming up in that time that were basically screaming at me that they needed attendance and needed help. So I decided to listen to those screams, and I've been working on my health for the last 12 years now, specifically. And I have a lot of information that I was very fortunate to gain from specifically living in China, because I had TCM teachers that I found there, which is traditional Chinese medicine. If you're not familiar with that acronym, it's very commonly used, and I use it as well, although I do try to remind myself that not everybody's familiar with it, so I'll give that out sometimes for you. And I've also developed the TCM acronym for myself in the program that I'm doing, which is Total Care Method. I say for myself, but also for my students. So it really is a total care method when we look at things from a TCM perspective. So I got into yoga when I was in Japan, and I also continued that in China. And then just before we left China, I managed to get my yoga teacher's training certificate completed. I went to India and stayed in an ashram there for 1 month and practiced my heart out and learned lots. And then I also had the opportunity to be studying and practicing Reiki while I lived in the Philippines, and also diving deeper into traditional Chinese medicine at that time as well. And I see there's some comments I have to move. Okay. Aha, I see. Yeah, 5 a.m. for you there. Yes, I see, Terry. And I see that you've written here that you have some genetic conditions that causes your sweat glands not to function. So you're conscious of not overburdening your liver. Yes. And that's important to have that consideration or knowledge as well, that it's not only necessarily our liver that can be the organ that needs help or the organ that is in need of support or help or detoxing. So we're going to get into that now. So on the topic of TCM and liver, so it's really interesting. Well, I find it really interesting. When we look at things from a TCM perspective, it really brings that holistic approach to our health and wellness. So we don't only look at specifically liver, even though that is our topic for today. In TCM, I'm going to take a couple steps back to give you a little bit more knowledge and information on the TCM approach to health and wellness, because I could stand up here today and just speak about specific foods that will help perhaps with your liver or drinks or things like that to do. But I always feel like there's more information that can help us than just incorporating a specific drink in our morning, for example. That's not a bad thing, and it can be helpful if we have that information. But when we can dig a little bit deeper and get a better understanding of what's going on and how things are interconnected, then I believe we really can look into true healing and true health. And as Terry has said in the comments about having a different condition that also affects her liver. So it's not only just the liver that's the actual issue. You know, there's so many factors that contribute. So in TCM nutrition, we have 5 elements that we have. So we have wood, fire, water, metal, and earth. And I may have said those in a strange combination now that I think about it. The crazy part is when I learned the 5 elements, I learned them in China. My teacher was speaking English to me, but of course we were able to have some Chinese or Mandarin specifically in the conversation or in some bits and pieces. And I'll share them with you because that's how I remember them most easily, is mu, huo, tu, jin, shui. And that is the 5 elements that I just mentioned, but that's in Mandarin. So mu is the order of it. And the connection, I hope we're back. I think the connection is back. Looks like. So mu, huo, tu, so wood, fire, earth. And after earth, then we get metal, jin, and then from metal, we get the water. And this is a continuous cycle. So we always have these 5 elements that are in a cyclic relationship to each other. I just want to make sure we're back and everything is okay. I think so. It seems like we're okay. Let me know if there's any issues. Are you able to see me on here? I see on my screen. I think it's okay. Now I don't know. Yes, I think we're good. If you have any issues, just let me know and then we'll maybe come back, but I think we're back in action. So these 5 different elements, you might be thinking, why is she talking about the elements? I wanted to hear about the liver. Well, each element is connected to a specific organ in our body. So okay, good, I'm back. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. So when we want to talk about our liver, we can relate it to the element of wood, which that was the first element that I mentioned in this list. And the wood element is interesting because it is specific to springtime, which is also very convenient that you have this request to speak about the liver element, because in the Northern Hemisphere, we are going into spring. So we have the liver element, all the words mixed up at once. We have the wood element, which is connected directly with the liver organ. And its particular season that it connects to is springtime. So that's in some respect, I see a pretty logical connection. In the springtime, we see the growth. we see the green growth, and that's another thing, is the color that's connected to the liver and the wood element is the green color. I did my best to find green in my closet today, and I realized I don't almost have any green clothes. There was 1 or 2 shirts I had, but they were like really sporty ones, and I thought that wasn't appropriate for what I want to wear through my day. But it's interesting also when we look at colors, all these different things, and the interconnectedness of the different energies that are behind this. Like I say, I'm really fascinated how all these things have energetic connections. So yes, we have the element of wood connected to our organ, liver, connected to the season, which is spring. The color green, as things start to grow in the springtime, we really see the leaves, everything, grass starts to grow, things are turning green, that growth aspect, right? It's really an interesting concept. I see Terry, yeah, color is really coming up for me today. That's interesting, right? Because that's again, like an energetic component. And even the fact that I look in my closet and I think, well, I don't have any green in here, or very limited green. So we can also, is the connection when we look at Ayurvedic medicine as well, which is traditional or ancient medicine that comes out of India, that they also have different colors and connections to actually different energy centers in our body. So green is typically connected with the heart energy center of our space, or chakra, when we look at it in Ayurvedic. A little bit different, but there's similarities, and I'm going to hope to make that connection before the end of this video. So with the interconnectedness already that we are seeing and understanding slowly how all these things fit together, and like I say, in liver, its season is spring. When we think about people who have allergy sufferers, that's basically, it can come back to our liver, because our liver has the main task of basically filtering everything in our body and cleansing it. Now, our liver is basically can be known as like a general commander in our body, where it has like up to 500 different functions that it does for us. So it's so super amazing and powerful, and often overlooked, I feel like, or people just think, okay, I need to detox my liver, or I need liver support. Again, not bad things, but we can look a little bit deeper and start to get other information and start to heal on a deeper level. Absolutely, we can have foods and drinks that support us and eat those or consume those on a regular basis, and we can start to learn about things that are hindering our liver or burdening, so we want to remove or limit those as much as possible. When our liver is... Okay, wait a second. How do I want to... I mentioned about the cycle, or the different connection of the different elements and the different organs. I didn't tell you each element and each organ because I don't want to confuse you, and we're just doing a little tasty episode today to just give you an understanding of this, right? So basically, the interconnectedness, we know that our body is all connected. If you cut your finger and it hurts and you can't, all of a sudden, you're not able to write anymore. You can't pick up a pen, or even you can't use your phone properly anymore. There's that connectedness, right? Even we're here you're watching this video, whether it's live or on a replay, there's a connection between us. As I say at the beginning also of the live stream, right? Writing your name on there lets me get the energy. There's a connection that is naturally there between us. So in our bodies, all of our organs are also connected. So if, for example, our heart is having a hard time and it's not functioning as up to its normal ability on a regular basis, it's having a hard time for whatever reason. It can be also diet related. Maybe we're eating too many fatty foods and that liver is getting the heart is getting clogged up, and it's having a hard time, and it's getting, bogged down, all these kinds of things. The heart just doesn't function on its own. We know that the heart has blood that it uses, and we know that the liver is cleaning out that blood. So this already, we can see the connection. And in that space, there is the potential for when one organ is struggling, it says, hey buddy, knocks on its neighbor's door. Hey liver, can you help me out? I'm having a hard time. I need some of your energy to help still get all these tasks done. And the liver says, okay, I have some extra energy. I give a little bit here. So now both organs are potentially struggling a little bit or having a harder time. They both have to work harder or use an energy reserve in order to get the jobs done. And that is going to be a factor when we want to think about how we want to support our liver. And I see that Terry has another comment here that she says, especially since she had chemo in 2018. Yes, chemo is something that will absolutely affect our whole body. Of course, we have the chemo process or the chemo treatments to treat a cancer, but it's also going to affect our organs and our entire system, right? So yeah, we have to think about when we put that chemo and we go through those treatments, when we put our body through that, exactly how is our liver dealing with this and cleansing and going through that whole system, right? So it's going to affect it. And now, after we've gone through that process, we want to be able to revitalize it as much as possible. As I was saying, with the connecting space of all the organs that we have, they're all part of that connected space within our body, just as all of the 5 elements connect each other. So for example, we have the wood, and the next element that I mentioned was fire. So wood is used to make fire. It's natural. The organ of fire is our heart. So we can just look in between those 2 connections already. So wood and the liver are connected. They are on the same, right? The wood is the element, liver is the organ. And we go, wood makes the fire. Fire, the organ is our heart. And that makes sense again because the liver is cleansing our blood. What does our heart do? It pumps the blood through our whole body, right? So we can start to see these greater connections and how actually the most important thing is when we can look at our health and wellness from a holistic perspective and really begin to listen to everything that's going on in our body and understand that all the things that we do are going to affect all the pieces in the puzzle. It's not only one thing, like years of alcohol consumption. Definitely it's going to be damaging on the liver, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the only thing that's in this puzzle piece that we need to think about and consider, right? I'm not going to go into everything right now, but you can understand that there's so much depth behind this. And if we go back one more time to this cycle, so we have the wood, liver, the fire is with the heart. Once we have fire and the fire burns out, what's left after the fire is burned out? We have ashes. This is the earth element. And this earth element is actually in our core. This is our core system. This is our stomach or our spleen. So that's that component or organ. And when we have the next one, the earth, we go from earth, we can make metal. The earth makes metal, right? It makes the rocks. It has the mineral content in there. And that is our lungs, I believe. I have to double check because yes, our metal is our lungs. I didn't want to give the wrong one just in case. So that's our lung component and our capacity. Again, we're seeing this great connection between all these different things. When we get from the metal element, we actually have the ability to create water. And that kind of seems a little bit like, how do we create water from metal? Condensation forms on the rocks, condensation forms within the earth, and this is forming to water. And after we get the water, it goes back to the wood because the water helps the wood to grow. So you see this whole beautiful interconnectedness of the elements and organs that are within our body. And again, each also has a season. So each season we can have an opportunity to be able to focus on that. Another beautiful piece is each organ, each categorization, each place of this cycle has an emotional component as well. Any ideas what emotion might be connected with the liver? We also have flavors that are connected with each organ as well that are helping to enhance it. The emotional component is anger. So when or if we are often or easily angered, there's a good chance that we can look into our liver and get help and support there. So it can be, this resonates with me, rather than treating each organ separately. That's what Terry said. Yes, I agree. Me too. It's so amazing when we start to look at this, like I say, the interconnectedness of all these people. Of all these pieces. I mean, it's obvious in some ways that these things are connected in our body, of course, because our body is a whole, not like the organ is over here and we have to, think about putting it in or out. Like it's a whole. We can see that when we look in the mirror. Everything is inside of us. It's contained within it. And there's obvious an interconnectedness of it. But we very often don't look at that or look at those components, particularly if we are coming from a Western medical perspective. We just treat the symptom or just treat the problem to try to cure it. And that's another thing with TCM. And also Ayurvedic medicine, we move away from finding a cure and look to minimize the symptoms. And how can we prevent this from reoccurring again or from happening again? And that's where it really comes into a beautiful space of holistic healing and health. And Terry says, yes, exactly. I agree. Exactly. I'm so grateful to hear that this resonates with you, because it really is such a beautiful way to look at our bodies, at living, at life, at nature, at the things around us, when we can start to see the grander picture of things. Like I say, are you or is somebody in your life continuously or constantly angry or easily angered or frustrated and annoyed? This is connected to our liver, and it's going to show, or it's going to come up in potential liver stagnation. It could be any liver issues. But basically, it's like, you think like yourself when you're angry and frustrated, I talk about it and I can make these fists of anger. You can see there's like a blockages and this tightness. You can imagine that happening within your body as well, within your liver. There's that, I'm frustrated, and even, your face, everything can get just tighter and more tense. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be angry about things. It's just a matter of dealing with and managing things properly. And like I say, bringing that awareness if you are easily angered. And again, if someone else is in your life, it's not a matter of calling them out or pointing it out and saying, well, you're going to have liver issues because you're always angry. Not necessarily. It's just mostly for us to have more awareness and have a better understanding of what is really potentially going on, or what other factors we can look at. So that when I go back to that, I'm angry. When I talk about it, I can just feel that, just everything tense up. Like I say, it's tense and it's going to prevent flow. And what does our liver do? Cleanses. It's a filtration system. It cleans out. It has lots of functions in there, but let's just call it, for simplicity's sake, a type of filtration system that's doing cleansing, right? So when we are tight and we pull everything and we're angry about stuff, we are causing blockages from that flow to happen. And another thing is, with our liver connecting with our blood, we often say, or we can say in some cultures, I know we definitely say it in Canada, I've heard it before, I'm so angry, my blood is boiling. It's like that kind of, like, you're just so frustrated, it just makes your blood boil. Right? So you can think also there's heat in there when we think about that as well. And basically our blood carries our emotions, which is really interesting as well. And how, again, connected to the liver. What is our liver doing? Filtering through with the blood, dealing with blood. Lots of stuff going in and out of there, right? So when we are feeling that blood is boiling, what do you think that's doing with our liver? What's going on there? It's extra heat in the liver. There's extra stress, right? That heat it's going to cause problems, potentially inflammation. Heat is connected with inflammation, right? So there's so many different little components and factors that contribute to why we might have issues with our liver. Again, like I say, there's a whole connecting cycle. So it could be also, or just a sec, let me make it so I still connect with what I've already said. Like I said about our blood boiling. I'm so angry, and that's just, it's, flowing. I'm just so frustrated about this. I'm just, like I say, I'm on fire about it. When I mentioned earlier about the different elements, the wood element connects to the fire element. What happens when your blood is boiling? There's lots of heat, right? There's lots of fire. So then we're also potentially affecting our heart. Makes sense. The heart energy. So like I say, everything's connected. If one, it goes in all sorts of directions. If our liver's happy, the other organs have better chances to be happy also. If our liver is suffering and often has anger and irritability, if we're having lots of allergies, if we have lots of skin issues, these are irritating kinds of things that come up in our life, right? So we can start to kind of dissect it by looking at the energies of what's going on. And when there's my cat, who's often angry and complaining. She doesn't like her food, so she's angry at me often. But anyways, I love her nonetheless. So when we have our blood, we're angry about things, our blood is boiling, it's going to affect our heart, because like I say, our emotions are carried through our blood, and our heart is going to be affected as well. If we think about what comes from our heart is love. But if we can't get that love and passion, if there's other things going on there, what else do we have? We can have, again, can be just stress and anxiety, and it depends, because it's different for all kinds of different people how we process our emotions. But generally we can put these categories, the organs, the seasons, the elements, we can categorize them into specific areas where they can have components that connect them together. Yes, it is. Terry said here, it makes total sense, especially in today's world. I'm not sure what I mentioned, what you commented on, and what is exactly in today's world. But basically, when we want to think about how to help our liver, I will make a 2-part series on this, because I do want to go deeper in it. And next week I will give more information on with the anger and frustration that you mentioned. Yes, in today's world. Thank you for clarifying that, Terry. So when I do want to go deeper next week into what we can do to support our liver, specifically with different foods and tastes and things like that as well. That's what I will be doing next week. I don't want to overburden you with too much information, make it so it is digestible. So okay, wait a second, where was I? Oh, that was it this week. Still talking here now. Just one moment, let me get my train of thought back here. Organs, it went away, it slipped away so fast. How did that happen? Maybe it'll come back to me. So what we want to be mindful of. So that's where I share this information about being mindful, because it's not, like I say, only doing a liver detox that you can get at your health food store and you think, oh, I've done good for my liver. Not necessarily a bad thing, but there's many more components. If you're really interested in truly taking steps for your health and making the best choices for yourself, we need to look at things from a holistic perspective. And it's important to really bring in all these other factors. It doesn't mean you need to know them all and know all the seasons and all the colors and all those things. Those are, extras. But when we start to understand that these things are all connected and do support us or hinder or burden us, that's when we can really have true health. We want to bring more awareness and mindfulness in general. What are we putting in our mouths? And it also, as I mentioned about the anger, so it's even what's coming out of our mouth. If we are angry and swearing and judging others and putting people down often and pissed off at all kinds of frustrating things. All this is bugging me. Exactly. If I'm frustrated, what's the world happening today? I'm in lockdown again, or this or that. All these things are the anger and the frustration that comes out. It's also internal, and it's coming from somewhere internal as well. So we can bring more awareness to it. And there's many different tools that we can use to look into those things as well. I'm just here to give you a basic general overview that we can open up to that greater awareness. We want to be careful about what we're putting in our mouth, what's coming out of our mouth, but also what we put on our body as well. What kind of creams, lotions, products, hair dyes, nail polish, makeups, shampoos, all these different things are going to affect our liver as well. We often think about, like I say, just what we're putting in potentially, or how do I fix it? Now I have a problem with my liver. What should I put in to fix it? Okay, but let's take a deeper look again. And like I say, what's your detergent that you wash your clothes with? What are the chemicals that are in your laundry detergent, or the chemicals in your dish detergent? You wash your dishes, your hands are in your soap in the water every day if you're working in the kitchen. All these different things are going to affect your whole body, particularly your liver, because your liver is filtering through this stuff. Everything that is coming into your body, whether it's from the skin contact or coming directly in through your mouth, is going to affect your liver, positively or negatively. There's basically no neutral ground when we think about what we're putting in our body. Things are either going to be positive or negative for when we're putting things in our body and how they affect us. So also, what's the cleaning products that you use in your home? What are the things that you are using to clean your floors or clean your walls or wipe your windows? Do you use bleach regularly? All these different things are going to affect you. Are you inhaling these chemicals on a regular basis? Do you work in a place where you have these things continuously around you? Because that will also be affecting your liver and the functionality of it. It's just so important to really get a grander scale of awareness on what's really going on in our body. And when I work with clients, when I do my nutritional program, that's what we work with. It's so many different components than just a meal plan. Many people have approached me and said, oh, do you do meal plans? Not exactly. I can help people to become more creative, but I also don't agree specifically with meal plans because they don't necessarily focus on what's local. What's local in your region is going to support your body the best, particularly seasonally. So the foods that are coming out in the springtime are going to support your liver. It's amazing, right? It's beautiful. And it's true. For example, because I'm not going to get into too much food today, but for example, rhubarb comes in the spring. It's one of the first beautiful, not one of the first, but it's a beautiful crop that comes in the spring, and it is absolutely a liver tonic. It is helpful for our liver. So things like that are natural, local, growing in your area is what is going to support you the best as well. Of course, there's tips that we are going to get into next week. So if this is interesting for you, definitely tune in next week, because I do want to provide you with the most information possible in this basic episodes of Tasty Tuesday, so you can have a better understanding of what will support your body and how it can support your body. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, so basically our liver is our main detoxing organ. I already mentioned that. So we do need to think about our liver health, because unfortunately in today's world, as I mentioned, that big list of all those things that we have to think about is affecting our liver negatively like the chemicals on our foods, the chemicals in so many of the products that we buy without thinking about it. All these fancy fragrances in air fresheners, car fresheners, free breeze, spray this, spray that, room fresheners, all the fragrance. Oh my gosh, there's so many when you start to realize, and it can also be almost depressing because you think, oh my gosh, I have all these things in my life that are hurting my body or hurting my family. Again, awareness. We have to start with awareness, and then we can start to make the steps. So next time, if your laundry detergent's empty, next time maybe you can make a more eco-friendly choice, or a choice that has, no synthetic fragrances, and it doesn't have the harmful chemicals in there. You're going to have to start reading the ingredient lists more. Same like on the foods that we buy. All these different food colorings that are unnatural for us, they're going to affect our liver as well. We want to do our best to have a clean as possible life. And I don't mean that in terms of like squeaky clean, I never do anything wrong and never eat any cookies or drink any coffee or never have a glass of wine necessarily. But that's another thing, actually, alcohol consumption. But what we want to think about is, how can we do our best to limit the things that burden our liver? And chemicals that are in all the products that I already mentioned, synthetic products that are going to be in foods as well. There's lots of foods that, basically when it's coming out of a factory, and it's coming onto your shelf, or if you've bought the product and it's in a box, in a bag, all those different things, they're going to have a process to them that is going to be most likely a burden for your liver. And again, it doesn't mean that you can't have anything like that. We just bring the awareness in to start to understand. We want to limit those burdens as much as possible. And Terry said, I think we need to get back to nature. I absolutely 110% agree with you, Terry. We need to start getting back in touch with nature more, because things like dandelions are also beautiful for liver support. And how many years we have been taught that dandelions are horrible. Why? Maybe the pharmaceutical industry had a little bit to do with that. Doesn't want us to tap into the nature and the natural healing abilities that are available to us. Dandelion root, I believe, is really amazing tea that is good for our liver, but basically all parts of the dandelion are beautiful for this. And I posted about this on Eastern Balance before, and actually I have a post tomorrow coming out for it as well. I'm excited to share. It's really beautiful when we start to tap into exactly that, what nature has for us and how it can help us more. And that's where TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, has that beautiful holistic approach to dealing with the elements. Because like I say, the wood element is connected to the season of spring, and it's connected to our liver. And that right there shows us that we can be supporting our liver at this beautiful springtime. And actually during spring, because there's so much pollen and so much stuff going on, our liver is dealing with a lot of things. So when we can help to support it the best that we can, it's going to be the best for our overall health. Absolutely. And yes, Terry, you put also local honey as well. Absolutely. Local honey is good for us. Again, I mentioned honey in the topic or the episode I had about sugar. So we want to be mindful, because honey is very medicinal also, and it has lots of antibacterial properties in it. So we can use it as an antibiotic, as a natural antibiotic. However, if we are consuming honey every day, we're going to lessen its effect in our body. We can use honey for seasonally, for if you're a very avid allergy sufferer. Eating local honey is one method that they say helps your body to have a natural intake of the pollen, because bees are pollinating in that area and the pollen is in the honey and in there, and it does help support our system to overcome the allergies. And I'm not exactly familiar with the protocol in that sense, how long you'd have to take it for. I would suggest reading up a bit more on that on yourself, or trying it out, having, a little a spoonful or so as medicine. In that case, okay, fine, you have it on a regular basis. But if you are on a day-to-day basis, 365 days a year, we don't want to rely on honey necessarily to be our only natural sweetener because, like I said, it can be used when we're feeling sick and we take a little bit of honey. That's that natural antibiotic that can help us, so we don't have to take the pharmaceutical drugs that have also negative effects. If we need it, we can take the antibiotics from the pharmacy if it's necessary. But when we can really dig deeper and get on a more natural scale of how to help our body every day, that's when we can facilitate true healing. Yes, and Terry also wrote there, unpasteurized honey. That's correct, because when we pasteurize things, it gets heated to a very high temperature, which is to kill the bad bacteria. But guess what? Good bacteria gets killed at high heat as well. So we want to avoid pasteurized honey. We want to have unpasteurized, so it still has that beautiful natural bacteria in it. Thank you for that. You're right, Terry. So thank you so much for listening to this today. I hope that the information I provided for you was a good foundation and groundwork for you. I really am passionate about this information and sharing this holistic approach to health and wellness, because all of these things are connected. And when we can start to open our eyes to the connectedness within our body, the connectedness from our body to nature, to other people, to everything around us, we can truly start to heal ourselves, because everything has a function and a purpose. And when we start to tap into that, we can have true health and wellness. Thank you so much, Terry. You're welcome. I'm so happy that you requested this, because it is really, as I said, a passion of mine. And I have been dealing with liver health because liver health is very much connected to our blood and connected to women's problems as well, which that was what started me on my healing journey back in 2010, was the women's issues that I had within my womb space. And I found out very quickly that liver was the culprit, perhaps, of some of the issues that I had, but that also helped me to understand on a grander scale what I had to do to help support my body in that space, and learning all these beautiful different tools to know that it's not only one factor. So if you are often frustrated, often angered, I suggest to take a mindful approach and look at how you can deal with your emotions to help support your liver also. Maybe there's meditation that you can bring into your life. And it's also the foods that we eat are going to negatively affect our liver as well, potentially. So for example, if we're eating lots of foods that can bring lots of heat and aggravate our liver, it's also going to bring those aggravated emotional energies into our space as well. It's really amazing how there's just such a connection behind all of these different things. It fascinates me, and I think it's a beautiful approach to health and wellness when we can really get that wrap our brains around that and start to incorporate it more, as we mentioned earlier as well, about being connected to nature and getting in touch with that, because that is what we truly need to be healthy. And if you are interested to move forward with your health and wellness journey, I have a beautiful program that I have curated. It's 3 months long. It's called Nutritionally Empowered Transformations. I currently have the wait list open for the next round, and if you put your name on that wait list by signing up for a clarity call with me, you are automatically entitled to save 500 euros off of this program. Just by putting your name on that wait list, by having that clarity call with me, you get that savings already. The next round is starting in July, and it's 3 months, so July, August, September. And I know some people might think, well, that's a busy time, it's school, it's this and that. Well, you know what? We always have things going on in our life, and the best time is the best time that you decide to move forward with whatever you have on your plate, literally, because these are changes that you can make every day, step by step by step. So there's always little things that we have the opportunity to implement. And through that 3 months, you will have complete guidance and support from me, and you will absolutely be receiving nourishment on all levels. As I've spoken very holistically today about the TCM approach to liver health, and I will follow up on it next week, but that nourishment on all levels is really key for TCM nutrition and health and wellness. Who would this program be for? If you have current health issues that you want to heal naturally, if you are dealing with weight management issues, and our weight and our health really do go hand in hand. And also, if you're interested in preventing disease from taking place in your body, this course could be right for you as well. That's why we set up the clarity call, to see if we are aligned and make sure that if it's ready for you to move forward, it's available. Some of the outcomes that you will receive from joining this program: you will absolutely have the TCM wisdom and knowledge under your belt, pun intended. And with that knowledge, you will know how, when, and what to eat in accordance to the different times of the day and to your body, and how it's going to affect you the best way possible. And with that, you basically have that knowledge to carry with you for the rest of your life. And if you're cooking for other people, they have that knowledge also, because you're going to prepare food for them as well. When I started changing my diet and my lifestyle habits, I told my husband very quickly, flat out, I'm going to be making these changes for my health. You've seen how much pain I've been in, and I'm going to make these changes because I want to get rid of the pain, and therefore the food that I cook is for you also. I'm not making two separate meals. I'm not going to do anything different. The food I make is absolutely healthy, and if you want to eat it, you can. And I'm so grateful because he does enjoy all the food that I provide for us. Of course, he also likes certain other foods that I don't cook, and he can eat them when we go out into a restaurant, or he's more than welcome to cook for himself in the kitchen, as long as he cleans up his mess. And he's more than welcome to have a barbecue or anything like that if he wants to as well. But when I'm cooking, I make the food that serves our body the most. And if you have people in your life that you're cooking for as well, I suggest opening up the dialogue and sharing why you do the changes or are making the changes that you do. If you want to contact me, you can just write on the bottom of this video, make a message on there, but you're welcome to private message me on Facebook. You can send me an email also at ninalaurie@easternbalance.org. And if you are friends with me on WhatsApp, you can also message me there as well. You can comment on the YouTube video if you're watching this on replay. I am so grateful that you are here taking in this information to help empower yourself and your loved ones, and also for the future of our entire planet, because absolutely this is a holistic approach for your health and for universal health, because we are all connected. Just as our organs are connected within our body, we are also all connected here on this beautiful earth. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I will be back next week with more tips on how to support your liver, and I look forward to sharing that with you as well. Thank you again. And yeah, we'll see you then. Have a beautiful rest of your week and take care. Remember to reach out if you need any help or support. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.